friends. It is your girl, I am Sheila Michelle, and we are back with another amazing podcast episode just for you, giving you all the ins and outs, the ups and the downs of entrepreneurship. Today, we have one amazing person with us, Miss Jennifer Pessima of Pessima Production. Is it Production Management Company?
No, it's just production company.
It's just production. Y'all know the rest, okay? So welcome.
Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we are so grateful to have you here because we know you have a super duper busy schedule. With all of the amazing media that you are putting out, the entertainment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just jump right in. I can't tell you how excited and how honored I am to have you.
I'm excited too.
On this show. But because you are a producer and you know us lay people, right? All we know are the actors that we see on the screen,
Yeah.
right? So can you let the people know about your work, your book of work?
I've been producing since college. I went to college for TV and film, mass media productions. I was one of the blessed ones that was able to walk into my career right after I graduated. And I didn't know how big of a blessing it was until you are surrounded by people who are like, I'm not working in my field of choice, especially after you spend that much money.
Right.
I went to Clark Atlanta University, and from there, I think it was seeing someone and touching someone tangible that did it. One of the people that we interned under was Spike Lee. Awesome. So having him come and talk to us and tell us his journey of how he just started off of faith kind of opened my eyes to see I've always been big on writing. I would write poems, I would write cards, I would write anything, any storytelling, creativity I would love to write. So I took a script writing class, and then we shot it and I produced it. And I was like, hold on, this looks right. It feels like we're onto something.
Yes.
So from there, I ventured off, and I believe if you are supposed to do something, you'll do it for free. I started serving at the church.
Okay.
And the church I served at was Pastor Creflo Dollar. I was in the television and film ministry. So I would leave school, go there to learn, and then go to work overnight. So it left me with minimum time to sleep, but I was so hungry to learn and just be surrounded by the environment. And that landed me my first job as a producer working under Pastor Creflo Dollar, which was a big thing because I was like, wait, I can't be a real producer, but they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And then from there, I went and I was his lead producer for his talk show. So his talk show was on BET for 3 consecutive years, and I was able to lead that and just get people on the show from 2 Chainz to Tyrese Gibson to Waka Flocka. So I had no connections with these people, but I always believe you're one person away from the person you need to meet. So they would come on the show, tell their story. And from there, I started to see like, oh, okay, I'm gifted in this area. You know, so I think I started to get over the imposter syndrome, which many of us have once we start.
Well, what I love is how God truly ordered your steps.
He did.
I mean, for real, in real life, right? He really ordered your steps. And if we just dial it back, because obviously that was just the beginning, right? We're going to get into all the amazing things that people are actually, watching that you have produced or are producing, right?
Yeah.
So Clark Atlanta, shout out to Clark Atlanta, CAU in the house. Somebody had a relationship with Spike Lee.
Yes, Dr. Eichelberger. They're godbrothers. So they have a very great relationship. He was a chair over Clark Atlanta Media Department. And Spike Lee actually went to Morehouse, but he was in the film arena at Clark. So he would be back and forth. So they're still friends and they still kick it. And then one of my interns that we were able to do was Nikiatu Hussein. So we interned with her. She was a student under him. And now to see her movie in Sundance, and it's like, wow,
Yes.
you never know who you're connecting with, or
Yeah.
you never know who's in the room. So it's very important for me to treat everybody the same.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get into, because entrepreneurship, when you hit so many things, just in that short sharing that you did with us. Number one, the importance of relationships.
Yes.
And even, I don't know if people even understand the reciprocity. So Spike Lee came, he attended Morehouse, that's kind of, part of AU Center.
Yes.
He's pouring back, he's coming back and nurturing where he was fed. And then you moving over, into Creflo Dollar Ministries, and because of your passion, right? Because you're just pursuing your passion, you were attracting things to your journey.
Yes, and I think one of the things that I stand on is serving. Serving another person's vision, another person's dream, until you know exactly what God is preparing you for. And out of that serving, I landed a job that I wasn't even believing God for, and then to be a producer and to be catapulted into my destiny. But I think, like you said, God ordered my steps, because I would have to listen to Dr. Dollar sermons, make commercials, make segments. And I didn't know the word was literally being downpoured into me. Like, I would be like, what's that scripture? And I would have to go to the Bible for references.
Wow.
So I see now the importance of getting my spirit right, my spirit man right, before I go off into the secular part of entertainment, and I see why it was so important, because now that I'm here and I'm over here producing content and I'm dealing with the world, because we are in the world, but we're not of the world. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I needed that scripture in my soul. That's why I needed to go that path before I got here, because I don't see how people survive without Jesus in this industry.
I don't see how
it's like period.
Yes. I actually sat next to an atheist one time on the plane, and I told him, I said, you're gonna see, we were having a good it wasn't, a hard, it was a good friendly conversation. I said, oh no, don't worry. Something's gonna happen, and you're gonna know that you know God. I can promise you that.
Yes,
it's gonna happen.
It does happen, and for me, it happened when I grew up in Washington D.C. and I was just talking about this with my friend. Maryland is where I actually grew up in, PG County, not too far from Washington D.C. And I'm an underdog, and I say that proudly, because I didn't know my circumstances. I didn't know the way we grew up wasn't regular. The walking around and afraid of being shot or being shot at or being in detrimental situations where your life may be jeopardized. And I had friends that are now gone off killed. I had friends that are in jail. I had friends that went to jail for a while, and just to see where I've come from to where I am now allows me to want to go even further, because like my family back home, my friends back home, they really believe in me.
Yeah.
And that comes from where we grew up, where we grew up, to the point of like being in the hood, being in gangs, being in situations where you're just one thought away from living a better life. And my thought was, I want to go to Atlanta. And then from out of there, it transitioned into, I want to make movies. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that. I wrote it down. I read the scripture, Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain, and it'll come and it will not tarry. And I wrote it down. And once I wrote it down, I kind of saw God walking me into those doors of opportunity, where my name will be mentioned in rooms and where people wanted to favor me and bless me. So here we are today. I've worked with some of the greatest people. I was like, how am I in the room actually working with these people? Marlon Wayans, Regina
Come on,
Hall.
name drop, name drop.
Sterling K. Brown. I'm name dropping because I'm still a fan of these people. Spike Lee, of course, just being in the room with people that you saw on TV only inspires you to want to do more, and then they're reaching out to my production company and saying, hey, we want to hire you and contract you to shoot this for us. And I'm like, dang, that little girl from Washington, Maryland, grew up
Yes,
and became this, So I'm excited about the journey because it's only the beginning.
it is only, I'm glad you know that. I'm glad you know that. And so as for on the viewer side of things, what one thing that I was thinking about when we were, tossing around questions for you is what can we do as viewers to see more of the TV that we want to see, more of the film, more of the TV shows? I promise you, it seems like we'll get a good show
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and either it'll go away
Uh-huh.
or the writing will become bad. What is that about?
I think it's, and as we know now, the strike is going on right now. And I think what happens is the writers start to begin to know their worth. For me, I'm glad I own my own content. So therefore, I get to write and produce it and say who I want to act in it and say how I want it to go. But if you're just a writer, which is not just you're big, it's now being able to say, I'm gonna write this. You have Issa Rae, you have Chandra Rhimes, you
Right.
have Ava DuVernay,
Right.
and you can look at their content, Lena Waithe,
Right.
and the longevity of it, the seasons of it, because they're taking ownership.
Right.
Tyler Perry from beginning to end, they're like, okay, I know how important it is to write good content for people to love this. Either you're going to pay me what I'm worth or I'm just going to produce it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I stepped into. You were on my set. One of the biggest promotions in my life where I was able to get distributions with an S to produce a project starring Denise Boutte and Drew Sidor, to be able to be in this feature film. And we wrote it. I didn't know I was going to executive produce it.
Right.
We put it down on paper and I was like, well, let me go find the funding.
Yeah.
And then as I was finding the funding, I started to realize, hey, I'm producing this and the money is actually coming to me and we're actually doing the work and I'm able to cast and find the actors and find the crew. And I'm just so grateful because I was like, dang, looking at the taxes and the audit and all of those things that I'm like, I can't do, but I have to do it. We hired and contracted over 100 people in this year alone with the movie. And I'm like, dang, one of my biggest prayer is God bless me with a blessing that I can't carry alone.
Oh,
and he did that this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start calling you the Yellow Brick Road. That's going to be your nickname because when I tell you your obedience, your willfulness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God done gave you the play and you just like, okay, God, I'm there. I'm going. You just have such a easy spirit about yourself. So it's like, this light work for you.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Like you truly are living in, his burden is easy.
Yes.
And his yoke is light.
And I think that's because I make sure I tap in. Like after the set, I made sure that I was like, okay, I'm going back in hibernation.
Yeah.
I'm going back in his presence. I'm going back into reading the word. I'm going back to get filled up.
Yes.
Because you were on set. We were around so many people, so many different spirits, so many different personalities where it's like, okay, if you don't do that, you will get exhausted, you will get drained out, and you will hold some of those things that happen on set to your heart.
Yeah.
And so it's very vital. And I see when I go into those seasons of isolation, or right now I was saying we have a pause in the industry because of the strike.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, how are you holding up? How are you holding up? And I'm like, I don't even notice it because God is downpouring me so many things of what to do next.
Exactly.
That it's like, it's imperative that we take a pause.
I think that is, so I could talk to you a long time, because I really feel like that's how we should approach entrepreneurship. We need to download from God every day. God, what is it that you would have me to do in your earth today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And following that direction, being a good steward over the resources, our time, our money, our relationships, which leads me to another question for you, because I think this is so big for, entrepreneurs as well, which is, how do you maintain your reputation amidst very political circumstances? Because politics ain't just government, right?
Yeah.
Politics is people. Too, right?
Yeah.
So how do you maintain your great reputation when you have all these different personalities?
Yeah.
Right? Everybody ain't saved yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
They coming, but they ain't there yet. How do you protect how do you be your authentic self, protect your reputation amidst, conflict, situations and things like that, and when you're in a highly visible role like you are?
I think it's for me, one of the things I had to overcome was the desire to be liked by everyone. And I think when you overcome that people bondage of, why don't you like me, or you should like me, or let me love you so you can like me, like that's how I actually leave my day. Like, and sometimes that could be overwhelming because people have been hurt.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to take somebody with just authentic love. Like, I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
I just want to show you love.
Yes.
And I think once I got out of that mindset of truly believing like everyone is not going to like you.
Right.
And I had to really realize that it's not my reputation to keep.
Yeah.
I am in this industry, but I am really doing ministry. So if I can love everybody to the best of my ability, and you see that I've done that, you're going to sit back and think about the way you treated me or the way you treat other people. And what happens is, if people mistreat me, they always, I have never had nobody that came back. And doing these productions, you would get the actors and the things like that. And they would see the work, and then they'll be like, oh my God, let's have coffee. And I'll be like, you really cursed me out on set. and I just sit there. Like, when people talk bad to me, they don't care who you are on set. I'm the executive producer.
Correct.
I'm the producer. When they talk bad to me, I just smile, and I go in my secret place. I pray, and then God be like, love them anyway. And I'll be like, okay. And then once the project is done and the glory gets out there, and they're like, oh, I liked working with her, because as long as you make them look good in such a vain, in a vain industry
perception.
Yes. And they're like, wow, she did a great job. So at the end of the day, they become your best friend.
Yeah, you like, well, my work speak for itself.
Yes,
and Jesus wasn't worried about his reputation. He just did his job.
Yeah, so that's it. I used to be that type of person that wanted to be liked and loved by everyone. But then I realized everyone's not for me.
True.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that is okay. Alignment is
important.
It's important. So, if you could describe your life with an existing film title or TV series, what would it be?
One of the shows that I was really pulled into, I don't know if you watched it. Well, two. This Is Us. Have you watched This Is Us?
Wait, I didn't watch. I don't think I watched This Is Us. I watched the what was the show that Mara Brock Akil and her husband did?
This Is Love. Love Is. That's right. Yeah, that one
was
too.
So good.
That one too. Love Is was definitely good, especially because she was a producer.
Yeah.
He was whatever.
That was
that I saw myself in that. This Is Us. I say that because of all of the family dynamics.
Okay.
And, they were able to overcome, and the writing was so good. I cried every episode, and I was like, I feel like I'm getting healing watching this. Insecure. Insecure.
Insecure, yes.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at now in life.
Yeah.
Like, okay, especially the last season where she was able to finally get to where she was fighting to get to. So I was like, wow, this is my life on TV right now. So those two shows.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell my rich friends, because they've gotten so many entrepreneurisms out of your story, right? Because people might not even look at with you as a producer, they may or may not construe that as entrepreneurship, right? They may not make the connection really, the dynamic. Yeah. But you've given us so many lessons in this short conversation. What should we be looking for? What's being released this year?
So I have a show. It's on Tubi right now. It's called This Is 30s.
Okay.
And then we just won a grant from Comcast, NBC Universal for I Am John Gabbana. We are going to start a series. It's going to be called I Am. It's a docu-series talking about how people overcame such tribulations in the limelight. So Boonk Gang, he was like all over the news and TV and Instagram and social media about how like he would terrorize the world and steal and do all this, but then he gave his life to Christ.
Right.
And now he's ministering, doing that same energy to talk about Jesus. So he was the first one on the episode. So we're going to shoot more. And then one of my biggest projects, The Despaired, that is starring Denise Boutte, T.C. Carson, Drew Sidor, Stevie Baggs, Jared Woodford, and amazing cast, amazing team. And that was one of the things that project stretched me so hard.
I couldn't tell.
Oh my God, it stretched me because I was like, who let me do this? Like, who actually gave me the permission to do this? Because here you are working on independent, smaller projects, and then you are like trying to make it work, and then you go over here and you're managing so many different departments in the blink of an eye. So The Despaired will be on BET Plus, and it will be on BET Her. And then right now I'm writing my next script, Something Worth Fighting For. So I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I definitely wish we had more time, but maybe you'll come back and join us.
I love you, Michelle.
I know I love you too. And I just want to be on camera and say thank you so much.
Of course.
Jennifer and I connected on an amazing show, Spa Tank. So y'all go check out Spa Tank.
Check out Spa Tank.
Check out Spa Tank.
Yes. Amazing.
Candace Holyfield Parker. Yep. So Ebony is under Ebony Eye Productions, I think, as well. Mm-hmm. So that was really great. And then she was so gracious to bring Percy Screening on to do the COVID testing.
Yes.
For The Despaired. Yeah. So, I really appreciate that. But more than that, I mean, you're just such a genuine soul, and we need more of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna be following and keeping up, and we're gonna get the news before everybody else get the news.
Yes. We just released it. I haven't said anything about it till yesterday.
Okay,
so
awesome. Yeah. So this is the press tour.
Yes, this is. So I'm excited.
So tell everybody where you want them to follow you on social.
Everything is Jennifer Pessima. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even though I don't use all of those things, but Instagram and Facebook, Jennifer Pessima. Jennifer Pessima Production Company, and thedespair.com. We're about to release our website. Yes. And we have some great marketing things to do in Atlanta, escape room and all of that thing, because it's a Christian thriller.
Yes.
So,
that's going to be fun.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. Yeah, y'all definitely check it out. It was a great cast. I loved working with everybody. Your your set manager was awesome.
Rena. She's been with me from the beginning.
Yes, everything just so amazing. So I know the film itself is going to be amazing. Well, rich friends, we're going to get out of here, but thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you next Tuesday for our live watch party at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, yay. Okay, thank you again.